Well, it's been lovely weather and the VE Day celebrations went off in brilliant sunshine, which is good. And it makes us reflect on our past and our ancestors and just what they did for us and where we sit now. So yesterday, as VE Day drew to a close, I thought I'd just put a little tweet out. So here's what I wrote, see what you think. As VE Day celebrations draw to a close and I think about the war, I wonder how many snot-nosed kids like me never saw their dads again. How many dads came home unable to work, and how many brought up by widowed mums without a halfpenny to rub together. No benefits, no disabled pension, no mobility allowance. Just get up and get on with it. They have the nerve to call the kids the boomers, as though they were born out of something fantastic. Rationing continued through the next decade and malnutrition and rickets remained a common complaint. No washers or dryers or heating, and people didn't even start getting fridges until the 70s. Kids went to work at 15 and coughed up their pittance towards household bills. Disposable income hadn't even been heard of in these frugal households. Still, these were a determined bunch of people intent on providing something better for their kids than what they had. They worked hard and long hours. In stuffy cotton mills and hot sweaty foundries, the dangerous coal pits that carried lifelong health risks and the physical injuries from the steelworks were plenty, where having all your fingers was a sign of being a new boy. They did it. They worked, they striked, they begged for more, and finally their lives became plentiful. They bought homes and cars and even ventured abroad. The sacrifices made by their dead and injured forefathers paid off, even on the back of paying off the war debt. Things got more sophisticated and life looked good, but it was going to be relatively short-lived for these boomers. No sooner had they dragged themselves from abject poverty to a comfortable existence, it all began to crumble away. They hadn't done anything wrong. They built their cars, their ships. They created the finest steel in the world, and our cities grew. But decline was thrust upon them. Men in suits, politicians and big corporations, and the banking system decided to shuffle the pack on who made what and where it was made. Britain was to be dismantled, but quietly. Everyone was distracted with their newfound entertainment and luxury goods and access to that disposable income. Politicians didn't feel the pain as the lobbyists grew fat from their shenanigans. Corporatism sucked the life out of the self-employed and small businesses, and one bad leader after another smiled and waved as they gifted our workplace to China and beyond. Britain became a manufacturing desert, and now these same useless, thoughtless politicians come after the farmers, the pensioners, and every corner of society has been screwed over. But the people have had enough, and the biased media who silence their voices can't hide the enormous political shift created by the people. It's a visible sign of utter discontent, born from decades of neglect, whilst witnessing their own replacement. This has to stop. And I think we can make it stop. Look at the photo, and when you start a life like this, you have the courage to face anything. And I put that up. Can you see it? That's what snot-nosed kids look like round Lancashire, around where I lived. And people have got up and got on with it. And we've been an absolutely amazing bunch. I've got to say we've probably been one of the strongest generations after the war. The ones that lived through the war were ultimately the warriors of peace, because they were thrust into it with no choice. Conscription grew, women did men's jobs, and guess what? We all survived. And here we are, this fine and fantastic nation of people from across the country with their different accents and different beliefs, and a little bit of other countries mixed into us from Germany, Scandinavia, Ireland and different places. And here we are, we're quite ready to be multicultural if you leave us to our own devices and let us marry who we choose. We'll do it on our own. We don't need infesting with TV advertising that's directing us in one direction. We don't need woke advertising agencies missing GB News out of bundles to try and stifle the narrative, because actually GB News delivers as much as it dare of our kind of thinking. No, we've done pretty well, really. And a new party has emerged, and I got a lot of criticism for backing them. Oh boy, did I. Insults galore. I didn't even know I had that many physical faults on my body until people decided to show close-ups of the scar on my neck, the gap in my teeth. Unfortunately, they can't see when I've cut my hair and I've got a big clump missing out of it. That's at the back. They missed that one. So I sit here today and I'm in a better mood than I've been for weeks and weeks, because obviously, as well as trying to promote something I think will work, you still have your doubts yourself whether it's going to actually happen. What will they do? What can we do? Oh God, it's all feels like it's all coming in on you. But when you really look at it, it's not coming in on us at all. We're pushing it back. We're pushing it back better than that bloody game that shows up on an ad when you watch my YouTube channel. You know, that king that pushes all them things back. We're doing that right now, and we're doing it successfully. And there'll be a few grey areas and bumps in the road with these new councillors because they're inexperienced. And what we have to watch out for these new councillors is there will be some people willing to help. I've had messages from former Tory councillors who've said if they get stuck, they can always contact me, which I think is a really nice thing to do, because that's somebody putting country before party. And that's what everybody needs to do, me included, and I do that. I'm backing the party that's putting the country first, and that's what I see. I'm not doing this for personal gain. I'm not starting a political party. I don't want you to vote for me. I don't want to be a journalist. I don't want to get paid off anyone for doing this. I'm just going to do it whether other people like it or not. And I do feel more upbeat about the country, because I did face this many months ago that it was going to have to get worse before it could get better, because people needed to fight. You don't fight when you're comfortable. You don't fight when you've got everything you want. You sit back and you enjoy it. And unfortunately, someone's taken it away from us. And he's in number 10. And he's wearing a crown on his head. And they don't care about us, not one bit. But we have an opportunity here, especially with the council elections. And when people give figures out about the councils, you've got to remember when people say, oh, they've only won 677 out of 19,000 councillors, only 24 of the 317 councils were allowed to vote. So actually running 10 out of 24 is a magnificent victory. It's fantastic. And they've backed. The thing I find about Reform as well, they will listen to the public, they read the threads, whoever's running the social media, the feedback comes through. And in the quest for having a bit of pride in the nation and flying the flag, they kind of didn't mean to exclude the county flags. They're up and running, no problem. It was just a bit of excitement there. So the county flags are acceptable, but yet none of these other foreign countries and other things that are not anything to do with British values, public buildings, are for us. For people living and paying taxes here, and our flag should fly proud. And I'm glad it will, because, you know, it's not that long ago on Facebook, if you put a St George's flag up, you got a 3-day ban because it was considered racist. The country's flag, can you believe it? That's how far down the slippery slope we've gone. But as from today, things are going to change. And I do honestly believe, I actually think that the fact that the new councillors will have a lot of plus points as well, because they can't fall into the trap of what the old system does. They're going to, you know, it's a new brush sweeping clean. But I have been forewarned by people in messages that there are some people looking to trip them up, but there are also some people willing to help. So what we have to do as people watching this unfold is, if we see anything, we need to talk about it, make sure that Reform Party get a fair crack of the whip at the council level, because this is really quite an historic thing. And I'm so pleased that despite a few hiccups, I mean, one councillor, they've stood her down, which I think was the right thing to do. After she announced on Twitter that as soon as Ben and Rupert had got a party, she was going to go across to her. I mean, who does that? This is people who are going to be in charge of budgets, like Lancashire County Council. It's 2 billion. It's a lot of money, obviously split out over things, but we can get people who are capable of doing that. As I said about the farmer yesterday, with what they spend on tractors, come on, farm equipment, it's ridiculously expensive. They'll manage budgeting all right. I have no fear with that. But they're new to the job, they need our support. And this is what we can do. This is us helping to set, if you think of it like a big massive pyramid and Keir Starmer's at the top, unfortunately, and then you've got the cabinet, and then you've got the MPs, and then you've got the councils and the mayorals and all the rest of it. And then down at the bottom, the building blocks are the public, aren't they? And we've shown what we can do. And what we've got to do now is show the country and the party that's going to lead us in this way forward that we are actually more important and more valuable than the money men. The money men can only do so much. The voters are the ones that count. And our job is to continue to grow an interest in politics, to get people more involved, not following it every day and reading boring stuff. I mean, some of the stuff I have to read, honest to God. I look at it sometimes, 4 pages, and I think, I can't do it, I can't face it. I'll need a crumpet or some toast to get me through it. And then I condense that into something like a 150-word blog, because there's so much of it you don't even need to know. And I'm only doing it to try and explain things. I'm not particularly one-sided. I'll work with what I think works, because it's going to work for me, it's going to work for you. It's that simple. So here we are on another sunny day, moving forward with a better set of councillors than we had the previous week. That's got to be a good thing. So don't forget, if you do want to subscribe, look at me remembering, to subscribe to my channel. It's always free. There's only the short little ad at the beginning. I'll never have any ad breaks. I'll never have any merchandise. I should sell scarves, really, shouldn't I? Scarves and bloody glasses. I'll never have a members club. There's no point. I just want to be able to talk to you like you've come for a cup of tea, and we can exchange, because I'll look down your thread. That's me clicking, I like that, and sometimes I answer. I do as many as I can. And then it's a little community, isn't it? Somewhere to come where you can feel a bit better about things. Because I do when I've been on and I see your feedback. I think it's great.